stunt flyers were known as barnstormers. The newsreels, always looking for action, were ideal screen tests for the most daring pilots and wing walkers. The most charismatic of the show flyers was Locklear. He won his reputation in the Air Corps, climbing out repeatedly onto the wings and even the axles of aircraft in mid-flight. He found such danger exhilarating. In 1919, for the newsreel cameras, he performed a plane-to-plane transfer without a parachute. Locklear was hired for pictures.
These days, this Locklear was a very popular man, very interesting man, very daring young man, and he took all the stars up, and every time he came to the studio, I succeeded very tactfully in avoiding him, you see, because I was scared to death of the guy. I wasn't scared, but I wasn't particularly interested. I was having too much fun on Earth. So he stopped me in the hallway and he said, "I know, you're Leatrice Joy." And I knew who he was, you know, and I made like I was very weak and about to die, you see, so he wouldn't think I was too robust to take up there. But anyway, he said, "You know, you're the only star. Now, come on now, let's make a day of it." So I said, "All right." So he said, "Right now." So I said, "All right." So we went out, and this plane, of course, when you see the ones of today, if you can catapult yourself back to a little cracker box, so help me heaven, with two single seats, one in the front and one in the rear, you see. And I got in this thing, and we started zooming up like that, you know, and I, as I said, I always controlled myself in a moment like that, and I said, "Now you're in it, now enjoy it, you know, and just be your age, you know." And he made an eminent curve, one of those things like that, you see, and then the reverse of it, and all those kind of things. And I thought I had enough, you see, so I made some kind of gesture to him, and I did this, meaning, take me down, you know. I was throwing in the sponge and giving up completely because I'd had enough of it. And he did this to me, and I thought, what's he so happy about taking me down? And all of a sudden, he zoomed up, and he went into the most daring of any of those stunts, the falling leaf. You go down and down and down till you practically pick buttercups, you see, and then he stops. And he ran to the back of it, and he picked me up, and he said, "Congratulations, you're the only star with guts, Miss Joy. You're the only one who asked for the falling leaf." Yum, 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 yum. And I didn't have the courage enough to say, that was my sponge I was throwing out, you know.
Locklear was particularly interested in an actress called Viola Dana.
I looked at this great, big, handsome man, and he looked at me, and he said, "Would you like to go up with me?" I said, yes, I would. I'd love it. And he had green eyes, too. And I want to tell you, we looked at each other, and up I went with him in one of those old Jennies. I afterwards found out, well, that was it. I guess we fell in love immediately. Done everything in a plane that's to be done. Loops, we did one day, we did something like 25 consecutive loops and spins and barrel rolls, and we'd go under between telegraph poles under the wires and chase our friends down Hollywood Boulevard if we saw them. I'd carry a bunch of old lipsticks, and that's how low we'd fly. We'd throw them down, and then you could see them look up and say, of course, I think they got after him, too. He had to leave town. He had hid out for about a week.
Locklear continued to appear at shows around the country, keeping in touch with an anxious Viola Dana by telephone and telegram. "There's nothing dangerous in the work," he insisted. "I do absolutely nothing that could be called a risk of life. Everything I do is planned methodically and is absolutely safe." Fox brought him back to Hollywood to star in The Skywayman in 1920. Aerial scenes were photographed at the DeMille airfield next to the oil fields.
He was making a picture for Fox. They were starring him in it, and he was doing some night flying, tailspin, and he said to the director, he said, now when I get down to the level of the oil wells, take the lights off me, the sunlight arcs. Take those lights off me, and I'll know where I am. I can come out of it. And he went into the tailspin, and they never took the lights off him. And, of course, he into an oil sump. I guess there was practically nothing left of him because those jennies, you know, they were very fragile. Somebody picked me up I started to run for the plane, and somebody said, grab her and take her home. And I guess I was just kind of crazy. I couldn't believe what had happened. And when you're young, those things are very shocking. I don't even like to talk about it.